Country continues to recover from Hurricane Melissa. Here are some updates on the most important areas of restoration. Our fuel supply network is stabilizing quickly, with full service resumed at West Indies Petroleum from October 27. Most gas stations are opening back in the West, and I'm happy to say for those areas that are still not getting the regular service from the petrol stations, on Monday we have 10 mobile fuel stations that will go out to specific areas guided to me by the JDF and ODPEM that will be able to set up and operate on generators, and will also be able to sell kerosene, which is very, very important at this time. But I expect that based on the report, most petrol stations are reopening and have made arrangements to be able to supply, especially in the hardest hit areas. We are arranging for police escorts to navigate the traffic and also for security reasons as well. As it relates to road clearance and access has now been restored along key corridors across the island, connecting Ocherius to Port Antonio, Morant Bay to Kingston, Mandeville to Black River, and through to Negril and through to Montego Bay. This progress has been vital in enabling supplies, relief items, essential workers to reach affected communities. However, some interior routes in St. Elizabeth and St. James and Westmoreland are still limited to single-lane traffic due to fallen trees and flooding. National Works Agency crews are prioritizing full two-lane clearance for key routes connecting rural communities to Montego Bay and Savla Mar. Telcos, most of Jamaica's community and public Wi-Fi networks are offline, particularly in western parishes, affecting over 150 communities. To restore connectivity, the Universal Service Fund is deploying Starlink satellite solutions, starting with Betheltown, Westmoreland, and rolling 15 installations over the next week. Mobile units are also being deployed to provide Wi-Fi and charging stations in affected communities. Over the next 6 weeks, USF aims to deliver at least 90 community connectivity solutions in the affected areas, meaning people will be able to stay in their communities and communicate. Starting today, the JDF is airlifting Starlink units and generators into isolated communities to establish community Wi-Fi hubs and support humanitarian operations. Starlink is being used to restore mobile backhaul for 4 and digital towers in the West, helping to connect 250,000 people in the affected areas. In addition, hospitals and emergency services are now using Starlink to stay connected, request supplies, and coordinate relief and more. We got 600 Starlink, 400 fixed, and 200 mobiles last week, Friday night. And I'm pleased to say that all have been given out in priority order for the affected areas. Sorry. Some would want 20, but we could only give them 10. But we're making sure that the next batch we will give optimum to all of the relief agencies that require. I'm making a public appeal to those government entities, agencies, NGOs that are being allocated these. They're of no use unless they are activated. If they are not activated, they are of no use. And I cannot get more if Starlink sees that there's no activity on the 600. As of Thursday, November 6th, Flow has restored 80% of pre-hurricane mobile traffic, with priority given to the hardest hit areas and key towns, including Negril, Savlamar, Falmouth, Black River. Efforts are now focused on restoring mobile services in other less affected areas. For fixed internet, 42% of Flow customers are now online, with another 23% able to connect once power is restored. Kingston and St. Andrew has 83%. JUTC continues to assist for disaster relief supplies and also for personnel, both government-related and those NGOs who are requesting transportation. We are doing so free of cost. Airports and ports. At Sangster International Airport, as of November 5th, 2025, 49 flights were staged, including 22 passenger and 27 cargo. For November 6th today, 31 flights are scheduled, all passenger and cargo operations. And at Norman Manley International Airport, as you know, operations have resumed, and on November 5th, 48 flights operated, including passenger, cargo, and military and private flights, with 42 flights scheduled for November 6th. Importantly, no scheduled flights have been cancelled at both airports in recent times. The Port of Kingston has fully reopened. Kingston Wharves provided 10,000 square foot of warehouse for the JDF, for humanitarian aid, and of course, free port services for relief vessels and discounted handling for relief cargo to speed up deliveries to the west. Fern Gully, which is the only other access outside of the junction St. Mary, which is not an option, is still single lane traffic and has severe flooding issues. Therefore, it is important that the aid that's going to St. Anne, Trelawney, Montego Bay, Hanover have access to a good road network. I will announce in due course when the toll will be reinstated. As for East-West, which is going towards Manchester, down into St. Elizabeth, down into Westmoreland, that is where a lot of the relief operations are taking place by road, and therefore it is the position of the government that we must facilitate that to be able to get quick and speedy recovery. God bless Jamaica.